past 2 weekends, I had back-to-back pop-ups at a local farmer's market that I've been participating in since November, and I kind of want to just take you guys through how that went and how I feel about doing back-to-back farmers markets. It was a whole lot of work. I'm very tired, like very tired. It's now Sunday, the Sunday after the last pop-up I did. So I'll just take you through everything that happened and just recap how I did and just take it from there. And please like and comment. Let me know what you think down below. Also subscribe to my channel. I plan on posting more videos about my small business. Also, eventually, when I gain the courage, I will start filming my actual pop-ups. I do have a big pop-up that I've been talking about in literally every single video that I've posted on YouTube so far. That there's one that I'm really excited about. It'll be my first outdoor market ever. It's called Open Bar Market. I live up here, upstate New York, so it's a market that's local to up here. I think it's been happening for the last few years. So they have one market every season. So spring, summer, fall, and then I think there's one in winter. So this will be my first one ever, first one outdoor. So it'll definitely be interesting. I'm very excited, and I plan on filming a whole video on me prepping for that next. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, on this channel, I plan on posting more videos about my small business, take you through all that stuff. And then again, yeah, when I get the courage to actually film the actual pop-ups and like have a camera outside in public, I'll do that. But for now, no. So I've just done like some sneaky little videos that you guys can see. So I'll add it to this one so that way you can see what my setup was like for the last pop-up that I did. And yeah, let's get started on talking about how I did for this last pop-up. So like I mentioned, I had back-to-back pop-ups at the same farmer's market that I've been doing pop-ups at since November. And they usually have outdoor markets. So in the spring, summer, they'll have the outdoor one where they close down the downtown area of Troy, New York. And all the farmers will be out there, as well as any of the makers that sell things. They'll also sell outside. A lot of the other businesses that I've met through doing the indoor pop-up said that the outdoor one is much better than the indoor. So I'm really excited for that. I have the first one on May 18th. So yeah, it's basically an event that happens indoors at this atrium. And honestly, the look and feel of the place is very old. It looks like it was probably an old school or something like that. I don't know what exactly it was. I'm not from this area, but yeah, they basically made it into a place where you can, you know, still shop from farmers. You can shop from local makers and things like that. So they put us in these like weird looking rooms, and I'll show a video of what it looks like from my point of view of like where I was at in the place. But that's only like one section. There's like other parts of it that are much bigger and much wider, and more people walk through those areas than where the makers are. So anyways, I had back-to-back markets, and it's basically the people who manage it, they'll send us the layout of the market or where we are in the layout on Friday, so the Friday before the actual market, so you can get to know like where you're at and whatnot. So I was in the same place both last Saturday as well as this past Saturday, and I would say that the weather was okay. It wasn't pouring raining, but it also wasn't very nice outside. Like it wasn't clear blue skies, it wasn't sunny, it wasn't 70-degree weather. People weren't really walking around, but people had intentions on going to the farmer's market. So we did have a small crowd, but there wasn't that many people walking around where the makers were. I think there was about a peak around 11 a.m. up until maybe like 12:30, where I made most of my sales. So for last Saturday's pop-up, I made 200 or a little bit more than 200. I think it was like 220 or something like that. And then this past weekend, I also made pretty much the same thing. And it's a big difference from when I started to now. So back in November, my first pop-up, I made about $550. That was my goal for every farmer's market that I participated in. I thought, okay, well, I made $550 at that first one. Is my first pop-up ever. So yeah, I'm gonna make that money for the rest of them. Or I might make more money, like maybe that was the lower end. But the difference between the crowd of the November one, the first one I did, and these last two was a huge difference. And I think it's just like the time of year that you're doing the pop-up, the crowd, the weather, all those things play a part in how well you do. So it was a big difference. I would say my prices are around the same as they were back in November. But yeah, I think no matter what, I did as well as I could do for the weather, for the crowd that was there, for what people wanted. So I try and just take whatever I can from it. So last weekend, since I made the same as this weekend, last weekend was actually the first time I ever introduced my mini. So I have my 8-ounce jars, and then I introduced the 4-ounce versions of those. And the purpose of that was to see if people would be interested. And, on one hand, of course, because it's cheaper than the 8-ounce ones, but also I wanted to figure out what my pricing should be, because, I don't want to cannibalize the sales from my 8-ounce jar. So I started out selling the 4-ounce candles for $12, and then said, okay, you can get them 2 for $20. I also priced my room sprays at $12 too. So I basically was telling people you can mix and match those. And then my 8-ounce jars was $24. So you can actually get them $4 cheaper, but for the exact amount of ounces. And you can also try different ones. So on one hand, it was great, but on the other hand, it was like I was cannibalizing my own sales to my 8-ounce candle. So last weekend I sold less 8-ounce candles than I did this weekend. And let me tell you why. So for pop-ups, it is a great opportunity for you to test products, but also your pricing. So you have to be careful with how you test your prices at markets, especially if they're ones that are consistent, like they're the same ones over and over and you just participate in the same thing. So I fluctuated them a little bit. And so what I did was, I know that people will buy candles at $24, but it also depends on the location and the demographic. So I believe the demographic at this particular market is not the one that will purchase a $24 candle as much as they would at a different market that I've done before, where my candles were priced at $24 and I killed it. I sold quite a lot. I sold almost $500 worth of candles. So I just think that it's just a demographic thing. So I didn't want to be in a position where at different markets I price my things differently. I just want to have a consistent price where no matter where I am, people will purchase. So I used the second market, which was this past Saturday, as a way to test new prices. So also thinking about the fact that people were purchasing a lot of the minis, especially for the 2 for $20 deal that I was doing. So I decided I wasn't going to do 2 for $20, even though it would give me more sales. I didn't want to do that. So I took away the 2 for anything or the mix and match anything for this particular market this past Saturday. I upcharged on my minis and said $14, and that's partially because I did a lot of research on other companies and other Etsy shops that sell 4-ounce candles, and also the difference between, say, like a smaller version of the same candle versus like a bigger version of their candle. And I wasn't pricing mine appropriately. I was actually charging way less than what I should have. So I decided I was going to charge $14 for my 4-ounce jars, and then for my 8-ounce ones I was going to charge $22. And then that actually opens up the opportunity for me to bring in like a larger candle eventually, but also a fair amount for it, in my opinion. With that being said, at this past market I sold my 8-ounce candles for $22 and my 4-ounce for $14, and I saw a better distribution of sales between my 8-ounce and my 4-ounce. Some people purchased multiple of the 4-ounce, some people bought multiple of the 8-ounce, and they just got different, scents. I thought that that was great. It's exactly what I wanted versus like the last weekend where people mostly purchased the 4-ounce candles. Like I was pretty much almost sold out of all my 4-ounce candles, and I have 12 cents and I made 2 4-ounce candles of each. So I was 24, and I came back with half of that. So I sold quite a lot, as well as like maybe like 1 or 2 8-ounce candles. And then, I have my stationery stuff, but last weekend, nobody really purchased any of my stationery versus this past Saturday. People wanted bookmarks, they wanted stickers, they bought candles. So something that I thought was interesting was that this past weekend, people bought bookmarks with the stickers and then like a 4-ounce candle. So they made it into a bundle, which was amazing because I always talk about on my Instagram how, like you can be reading a book and you can light a candle and it can be very cozy, and it's like a whole thing that I can sell. So it actually gives me an idea to sell maybe like a package or like a gift set or something later on, where I combined a bookmark with a candle and I don't know, something else like matches. Eventually I want to incorporate matches in my business. So I don't know, it could be some sort of bundle thing that can be really cute, and it could be like a bookish gift set of sorts. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And so, even though I didn't make too much money at the past 2 markets, what I took away was that I was doing some research on my pricing, like what should I be pricing my things at. Also with my bookmarks, I haven't restocked a lot of my bookmarks in a while. I actually just restocked the backings for my bookmarks from Vistaprint. I was purchasing from Staples, but then I've been having some issues with Staples, the quality as well as them even receiving my order and getting it done. So I decided I needed to get new business cards. So I got my business cards and decided to get new backings for my bookmarks from there. I didn't come to the past market prepared to with the restock of my magnetic bookmarks as well as some of the newer bookmarks. I didn't have backings for them, so I didn't have those out, which is unfortunate because I was selling more stationery at this past one, which is interesting too because I didn't change the prices or anything for those. They were exactly the same. It was just people's moods were just different. They just were in the mood for more like stationery, like bookish type of thing. So for this next pop-up that I'm going to do, which will be the outdoor one, I plan on making more stationery items. I have some ideas for magnetic bookmarks that I want to make, so I'll probably do some more of those. I also want to get more into doing pop culture references, which I haven't really been doing often enough or enough at all. So I want to start doing that as well. So just to recap, because I went on a little tangent, I didn't do amazing at these past two markets, but I did learn something about my prices as well as the different moods that people have in terms of like what they want to buy this weekend or next weekend or based on the weather, how they feel. All those things play a part. So I want to be prepared for everything. So what I'm learning from this is that my prices that I had this past weekend, I'm probably going to take into this next pop-up that I'm doing to see how it does then, especially because I know that the demographic is more so mine. My demographic is more so like 21, maybe a little bit younger than that if you're in college, to about 35 years of age. I think for some of my spa collection, so like the peppermint, the lavender, I have an oatmeal milk, and then a pineapple sage, those tend to skew a little bit older. So it just depends on what I have, the type of day or like where I'm at, but usually that's around the age demographic that I sell to. And so at this next market, I believe it's more so 25 to 35. So I think that'll be my market. So I'm going to keep my prices the same. So $22 for the 8-ounce candle, $14 for the 4-ounce, and then everything else will remain exactly the same. And then I'll report back on how I do. And also what I'll do for that one is create more magnetic bookmarks as well as stickers, since those are the two items that I was selling quite a lot of, and maybe even do like a bundle situation. Something else that I thought was really interesting that I was watching is watch how other businesses sell their products. So there was one that I was next to, and they had these cards that once someone makes a purchase, you can choose from a deck, and it's very random. So you choose one, and it could be like a coupon for a free item or a couple dollars off for your next purchase or a couple percentages off for your next purchase. And what I noticed that once they picked that, they got so excited that they had a chance to win something on the spot. But then if they receive $5, they're like, oh, well, I have to use it now. I have to purchase now. And I thought that was so interesting and so clever. Something I plan on doing for my next pop-up once it's complete is have a spin the wheel type of discount situation. So it can be very like gamified and it might be really fun. So I actually did create it. I went to Michael's and I bought all the things for it. So I'll show it somewhere, but basically I made it so that way at these outdoor pop-ups, people can spin it and win a discount, win a couple dollars off, win a couple percentages off, and hopefully encourage them to purchase more. So I think it'll be really fun, and I'm excited to see how that does because I thought that card idea was just so genius. It was just like consistent. Like as soon as someone picked something, they went and they purchased immediately, made a second purchase. So I'm pretty sure she did so well. Jewelry is definitely something that people love to purchase and to get a lot of, especially if it's like really cute or, it's just very like seasonal, things like that. So she was doing really well as it was. But then with that little like card, gamified, whatever thing, it's like she blew it out the water. So I thought that was really interesting. So I think that's something that you can take away from pop-ups too. Like even if you don't do well, like pay attention to what other people are doing, talk to your local businesses, like the people who are next to you, and see how, they do things, see how long they've been doing pop-ups, see if they have any tips for you. Just making connections is really great. I've actually grown my Instagram following by doing that as well. And those businesses tend to engage with you, engage with your posts, and like and share your things and just comment on them. So it helps boost the engagement on your social media. That was the recap from the last 2 pop-ups that I did, some of the things that I learned and some of the things I'm going to take away to my next pop-up. So I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment down below if you thought it was helpful, and let me know if you have any tips for your pop-ups. Now, no. So I've just done like some sneaky little videos that you guys can see. So I'll add it to this one so that way you can see what my setup was like for the last pop-up that I did. And yeah, let's get started on talking about how I did for this last pop-up.